Using the 3-median method for linear regression, you follow the following steps. The first step is to split your scatterplot into 3 groups. The second step is to find the medians horizontally and vertically for those 3 groups. And then the third step is to use the far left median and the far right median to get your gradient. So put your ruler on those 2 points, and then keeping that exact slant, slide a third of the way up towards the middle median. So let's see how that works. So here's a scatterplot. The first step using this method is for me to split these dots up into 3 groups growing across the page from left to right. And I want these groups to be roughly balanced. I want them to be quite even. So first up, count how many dots there are and then see how many dots you're going to put in each group. So in this one we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 dots. Perfect. That's perfectly divisible by 3. So I'm going to put 3 dots in each group. Sometimes it works really nicely like that, in that the number of dots is perfectly divisible by 3. So for example, when we have 9 dots, we're going to put them in groups like this, 3, 3, 3. Sometimes it won't work that well though. For example, if you have 10 dots, you've got an extra one. So what do you do with the extra? Well, when you have one extra, you put it in the middle group. So instead of going 3, 3, 3, we're going to go 3, 4, 3. When you have 2 extra ones, for example, if you had 11 dots, you've now got 2 extras. So we put the extras in the other 2 sides. So we would say 4, 3, 4. When we get to 12 dots, we're back to being perfectly divisible by 3. So we would just put 4, 4, 4. If we have 13 dots, we're 1 away from it being perfectly divisible by 3. So because we've only got 1 extra, we put it in the center group. So we'll go 4, 5, 4. And that gives us our 13 dots. If we had 14 dots, now we're 2 away from being divisible by 3. So when we have 2, we put them in the left and the right, and the one in the center is only 1 away. So in this case, we would go 5, 4, 5. And this works for any number of dots. Let's say we have 35 dots. What's the next lowest number that's divisible by 3? It's 33. And 33 divided by 3 is 11. So we're going to be having 11 in each group, except that we've got 2 extras. So because there's 2 extras, we'll put them in the left and the right. So we'll have 12, 11, 12. And that gives us our 35 dots. If we had 61 dots, what's the next lowest number that's divisible by 3? It's 60. And that would give us, if we had 60, we'd have 20 in each group, like this. But we've got an extra one. So because it's 1 extra instead of 2 extra, we're going to put it in the middle. And we'll have 20, 21, 20. So the way you work it out is just to always have 1 extra either in the middle, or if you've got 2 extras, you put 1 in either side on the left and the right. Going back to our scatterplot with 9 dots, we can just break this into 3 groups of 3. And we're going to do that across the page. So you put your ruler on the page. Excuse my terrible drawing of a ruler. And you run your ruler across the page and see which ones you hit first. So the first one we hit is there, this point. Then we hit this one, and then we hit this one. So there's my first 3. Then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. There's my next 3. And there's the last group there. So the splits are going to be here, because there's those first 3 going across. There was the next 3 going across, so I'm going to split them there. And now I've got 3 groups. Now, the next step is to find the median in each of these groups, horizontally and vertically. So let's start by going up the page vertically in this first group. The first dot that my ruler hits is that one. The next one is that one, and then I hit that one. So vertically, the middle of these 3 points, the median of a 2 y-coordinate and then a 5 y-coordinate and then a 9 y-coordinate. If I had the points in a list, 2, 5, 9, and I asked you to find the median, you'd say 1 from the bottom, 1 from the top, the median is 5. So going up the page, our median is 5. So that's along here. That's where our vertical median is. Now what about the horizontal median? I stick my ruler on the page and I see what order I touch these dots in. The first one I touch is that one, and that's at an x-coordinate of 1. The next one I touch is that one, that's at this x-coordinate of 2. And then I touch that one, which is at this x-coordinate of 3. So if I was to line those up in a list, 1, 2, 3, and I said find the median, you'd go 1 from the bottom, 1 from the top, there's the median. So the median going across is at that 2 point. Across the page horizontally, the median is here. So what I do is I find where the vertical median and the horizontal median points meet, and that is the median of these 3 dots. So now I do the same for this middle group. Going up the page, what order do I cross these dots in? Using my ruler, I hit that one first, and then I hit that one there, and then I hit that one. So they had y coordinates of 4, and then 7, and then 8. And the median of those is going to be this one here. It's this point. So vertically going up the page, this is where the middle is. What about going across the page? The first one I hit is that one, then I hit that one, then I hit that one. So we had an x-coordinate of 4 there, then we had an x-coordinate of 5, and then we had an x-coordinate of 6. So this line here is where my horizontal median is. And where those two medians meet each other, going across the page, the middle, and going up the page, the middle, that's where my median point is. So let's do it for that last group. Going up the page, the first one I hit is that one, which is a y coordinate of 5. And then I hit these two at the same time. So that's a y coordinate of 10. Now if they were lined up in a list, 5, 10, 10, what would the median be? 1 from the bottom, 1 from the top, it's 10. This is where my median line is. What about going across the page horizontally? The first one I hit is this point, which is a x-coordinate of 7. The next one I hit is that one, which is this x-coordinate of 8. And then the next one I hit is that one, which is this x-coordinate of 9. So 1, 2, 3. Where's the middle? It's there. So along here is where my horizontal median is. Now, where do those two medians meet up? It's right there. So that's at 8, 10. So now I have my 3 median dots in these 3 groups. The 2 on either end, in the left and the right, give us the gradient of this line that we're drawing. So this one and this one give us the gradient. This one in the middle, we move towards once we've put our ruler on the far left and the far right. So this is a little bit hard to show on a computer screen, but I'll do my best. Put your ruler on the page and line it up with this point in the left and this point in the right to get the slope of the line that you want. So we put our ruler on the page and we line up those 2 dots. We put our ruler running through those 2. And then we slide off those 2 dots and just go 1/3 of the way towards this middle point. So we move the ruler about 1/3 of the way to there, and then you draw a line with your ruler. That's not quite a straight line, obviously, because I'm doing that with a mouse, but always make sure this line is definitely straight. One of the exam years, some students drew their lines by hand like this, and they were little bit wonky, and they didn't get the marks. Always use your ruler or a straight edge, the side of your book if you don't have a ruler with you. Make sure your lines are straight when you're drawing straight line graphs. So here's a straight line that I'm drawing running between these 2 outer points, and I'm sliding it 1/3 of the way towards that middle median. Now I've got my 3-median regression line. All that's left to do is figure out the equation of this line. So it's going to be in the form y equals mx plus c. And I can see what the c is because I can see this y-intercept. That's at 3. So c is 3. Now what is m? M is the gradient. And for that I need 2 points on the line. But a more accurate way than trying to guess a couple of points on this line would be to use 2 coordinates that I know the gradient for definitely. Because these 2 points, this one and this one, even though they don't fall exactly on this line that I've drawn, they're parallel. And I know that the gradient of these two, connecting these two, is exactly the same as the gradient of this line here. Because I did that. I found the gradient of these two and then I just moved it towards this other point, keeping the slope the same. So if I kept the slope the same, then the gradient, the slope, must be the same for this line as for the line joining these 2 points. So this one here has a coordinate of 2, 5. And this one here has a coordinate of 8, 10. So, difference in y over difference in x, or rise over run. Have a look at the last tute if you need a refresher on how to find the equation of a line. This is going to be 10 minus 5 over 8 minus 2. The y's minus the x's. So we get 10 minus 5 is 5, 8 minus 2 is 6. So the equation of this line is y equals 5/6 x plus 3. Sometimes instead of doing this, slide the line a third of the way towards the middle median, you might like to find it using algebra. You might like to do it the arithmetic way. And there's a formula for finding what the equation is once you know the coordinates of these 3 medians and once you know what that gradient's going to be. And it looks like this. Now that may look a little bit daunting, but really what it's just saying is that c equals a third of all your y's added up minus m times all your x's added up. So that's not so scary. To do this, we're going to need those 3 coordinate points from our graph. So the left-hand one was 2, 5. 2, 5. The middle one here was at the coordinate 5, 7. And this third one, the far right one, was at the coordinate 8, 10. So those are our points. Now we use the left one and the right one to figure out what our gradient is going to be. So let's do that. Difference in y over difference in x. We get 10 minus 5 over 8 minus 2 is 5 over 6, and that's our m, which we need to use in this equation. So find the m first. And now we find the c. So c equals a third of my y's added together. So what are my y's? They're 5, 7, and 10. So 5 plus 7 plus 10 minus m times my x's added together. So what are my x's? They're 2, 5, and 8. So 2 plus 5 plus 8. So c equals a third of 5 plus 7 plus 10 is 22 minus m times, now what's m? 5 over 6 times my x's added together. So 2 plus 5 plus 8 is 15. So I've got 22 minus, now what's 5/6 of 15? 5 divided by 6 times 15 on the calculator gives you 12.5. 22 minus 12.5 is 9.5. So c equals a third of 9.5, or 9.5 divided by 3, which is 3.16 recurring. Now when we did it the graphical way, using our ruler and sliding a third of the way towards that middle median, going along here, we found our c to be 3. So we had y equals 5/6 of x plus 3. Using this method, I've found y equals 5/6 of x, because that was my m, and now I found my c, which is plus 3.16 recurring. So it's a little bit more than 3. Looking back at this graph, this y-intercept actually did cross just slightly above the 3, but because I'm using a graphical approach here, I just approximated that because I'm not going to be able to figure out what that is to a number of decimal places. So you get slightly more accurate using this method, using the formula. But either would suffice unless they ask you specifically to use this formula, to use this arithmetic approach. So let's do another example. Start by counting up how many points you have so we can figure out how to break them up into our 3 groups. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We've got 11 dots. Okay, that's not divisible by 3. What's the next lowest number that's divisible by 3? That's 9, and we'd have 2 spares. So if we have 9, we would have 3, 3, 3. But we've got 2 spares, so we're going to add a spare to that and a spare to that, and we're going to have 4, 3, 4 for our groups. So the first group going across the page, I want to have 4. So the first one I hit is that one, then I hit these 2 at the same time, and then I hit that one. So there's the first 4. So that's my first group. Now I want 3 in the middle. So the first one I hit going across is that one, then I hit that one, then I hit that one, and there's 3. And I should have 4 left over. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. So now I'm going to find the medians in each of these groups. So going across, the first one I hit is that one, and then I hit these 2 at the same time, and then I hit this one. So if I had those x-coordinates lined up, 1, 2, 2, 3, what would the middle be? Well, it's just going to be this 2 point in the middle, because I hit this one, and then the middle of this and this going across is just this. So there's the middle there going through both of those points. What about going up the page? I hit that one first at a y-coordinate of 4, then I hit 6, then I hit 8, and then I hit 10. So where's the middle of all of those? It's in between those 2 points. If I'm splitting up 4 points, 1, 2, 3, 4, I want to be halfway between the second and the third, which is that coordinate there at 7, halfway between 6 and 8. So there is my median going up the page. So there's the median point. Now what about in that next group? Going across, I hit this one first, and then I hit that one, and then I hit that one. So going along, my median, my middle of these 3 points, across the page is here. What about going up the page? I cross that one first, and then I cross that one, and then I cross that one. So hey, what do you know? That point is where my horizontal median is as well. When you get a case like that, where the middle horizontally and vertically is one of the points on your graph, it's simple, that just becomes the median point. That is one of our points that we use. And for this final group, I hit these 2 both first. So there's my first and second points. There's my third point, and there's my fourth point. Now if I have 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, where is the middle? It's somewhere between the second and the third. But I hit these 2 at the same time. So the horizontal median is going to be between these points and this one here. Because if these x-coordinates were lined up, we had 2 7s, and then an 8, and then a 9. How would you find the median? 1 from the bottom, 1 from the top, 1 from the bottom, 1 from the top, halfway between 7 and 8 is here, 7.5. And going up, we hit this one first with a coordinate of 2, that one next with a y-coordinate of 3, that one next with a y-coordinate of 5, and that one next with a y-coordinate of 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4. The middle of all of those is going to be between the second and the third. It's going to be between these 2 points. So it's here, which means my median point is where those two cross, right there. Okay, so I'm going to use this point and this point to find my gradient. I'm going to put my ruler on these 2 points to get a slope, and then keeping the ruler level, I'm going to slide it a bit of a way towards this middle point. So I get my ruler and I put it over these 2 points. Now, keeping the slope exactly the same, I move my ruler up about 1/3 of the way towards that next median point. And I draw a line, which would of course be straight if I was actually drawing this next to a real ruler. So here's that straight line joining these 2 points that I move 1/3 of the way towards that next median. And there is my linear regression line using the 3 median method. Now I just need to find the equation of that line. So in the form y equals mx plus c, to find the m, the gradient, I'm going to use these 2 points. Because even though they don't fall on the line, you can see they're not on this line that I've drawn. However, the slope joining those two is exactly the same as the slope of this line, because that's how I found the slope of this line. I used these two. So what are their coordinates? Well, this one was halfway between 7 and 8, so the x part was 7.5, and the y coordinate was halfway between 3 and 5, so that one was 4 for y. And this one, the x is 2 and the y was 7. So using those 2 points, I'm going to find my m. So difference in y over difference in x. I get 7 minus 4 over 2 minus 7.5, which is 3 over negative 5.5. And I do want to get a negative answer, because if you have a look at my linear graph, it's going down the hill. So if I'd gotten a positive number, well, I'd be concerned. So negative, this is good. 3 over 5.5. That's my m. Y equals negative 3 over 5.5x plus c. Now I just need to find the c. Doing it this graphical way, I'm just going to read that off. That looks like it crosses at 9. So y equals negative 3 on 5.5x plus 9. If you were using the graphical method to solve this by sliding your line towards 1/3 of the way towards this middle median, then you can stop here. This is the answer. But sometimes instead of using this method, they ask you to use the arithmetic method using that formula. So I'm just going to show you that for this example as well. Using the formula, c is going to be 1/3 of my y's added up minus m times my x's added up. So I need those coordinates so I can apply them to this formula. My first coordinate was 2, 7. 2, 7. The next coordinate here is 5, 8. 5, 8. And the third one was at 7.5, 4. Okay, so what was m? Because I'm going to need m to use this formula. M was the difference in y over the difference in x, using these outer 2 points. So 7 minus 4 over 2 minus 7.5 is 3 over negative 5.5. That's the m. Now let's put it into this. C equals 1/3 of my y's added up. So what are my y's? 7, 8, and 4. 7 plus 8 plus 4. Minus m times my x's. What were my x's? 2 and 5 and 7.5. 2 plus 5 plus 7.5. Seven plus 8 plus 4 is 19. Minus, what's this m part? Let's put that in there. Hey, look, this is a negative. So minus a negative is going to become plus 3 on 5.5 times, what's 2 plus 5 plus 7.5? That's 14.5. So 3 divided by 5.5 times 14.5 is 7.909. So C equals a third of 19 plus 7.909. So C equals a third of 26.909, which is 8.97. Which means that the formula I've worked out is y equals negative 3 on 5.5x plus 8.97. Let's compare that to the equation we got when we did it the graphical way. We got y equals negative 3 on 5.5x plus 9. So what do you know? 8.97, very, very close to 9. So here, we'd looked at it pretty accurately. But to be really closely accurate, we do it the arithmetic way. In the next video, I'll run through a couple more practice problems using this 3-median method and show you how this has appeared on exams in the past.